Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI has died at the age of 95. He passed away at 9:34 a.m. this morning here at the Vatican in Rome. And over the last few days there had been much concern for the retired Pope's health after the Vatican announced that his condition had suddenly declined as a result of aging. Well, this morning the bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang somberly to mark his passing. Many of those gathered here in St. Peter's Square have come to Rome over the past number of days from around the world, wanting to be close to the retired Pope in his dying moments. From a small town in Bavaria in Germany, Josef Ratzinger grew up in a very turbulent and uncertain time. His country was at war and Adolf Hitler was in power. Coming from a deeply religious family, as a young boy he would serve Mass, and he went on to be ordained in 1951. He had a flair for academia and became a professor at the age of just 30. He rose through the ranks of the Catholic Church in Germany, becoming Archbishop of Munich and Freising in 1977, and then he was elected a cardinal the same year. In 1981, his position and power at the centre of the Catholic Church here in Rome was cemented when Pope John Paul II appointed him as the prefect or head of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. He and Pope John Paul II had a very close relationship, and they shared similar views on theology, their vision for the Church and other issues in society. And so when Pope John Paul II died in 2005, Cardinal Josef Ratzinger was seen as a natural successor to keep continuity in the Church. His papacy was a short one in relative terms, spanning only 8 years. But in that period, he is seen by many as having made an immense contribution to the Catholic faith through his writings and teachings. Even his harshest critics and skeptics, who saw him as austere and authoritative, were surprised when just after a year in the Vatican, he published his first encyclical, Deus Caritas Est, which was about the theme of love. Beloved by his followers, they point to the beauty, the depth and clarity of his writings as ones they believe will be teaching documents in the Church for years to come. He was accused by some more progressive Catholics of shutting down or silencing theologians who he saw as deviating too far from official Church teachings. Defenders say, as head of the CDF, that was his role. As Pope, he travelled to places like the United States, Mexico, Cuba, Africa, England and Australia, where in 2008 he celebrated Mass in front of 400,000 young people at World Youth Day. During his time as Pope, the clerical sexual abuse scandal remained a global crisis for the Catholic Church. Pope Benedict XVI became the first Pope in history to meet with abuse survivors. He did this in 2008 on his papal trip to the United States, where he spoke of the great shame the Church felt because of what clergy had done to the most vulnerable, children. He went on to meet victims on a number of other occasions and spoke very strongly against those who had committed these crimes. But for many victims, it was simply too little, too late. And they point to the Munich report, which accused him of mishandling 4 cases of abusing priests when he was Archbishop of Munich in the 70s. He strongly denied this. In 2013, he shocked the world when he announced that he would be retiring. A pope had not retired in over 600 years, and so this was uncharted territory. As he entered into the last moments of his papacy, a large crowd gathered outside the papal summer residence in Castel Gandolfo, where standing on the balcony, Pope Benedict XVI told the crowd that he was now a simple pilgrim who was beginning the last leg of his pilgrimage on this earth. And as the clock struck 8 p.m, the Swiss Guard, who had been protecting the papal palace, left their posts and retreated inside. There was now no Pope to guard. Their duty was done. Pope Benedict XVI was now Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI and lived in a monastery within Vatican City, rarely being seen in public, normally only at the invitation of Pope Francis. Here in Rome today, many are gathering in St. Peter's Square as the Vatican has just announced that his funeral will be held this Thursday. In Rome, Colm Flynn, EWTN News in Depth.